right. Let me see if we're live on YouTube.
I don't think so yet.
All right, looks like we are now. Okay. So we'll just wait a few seconds, minutes until some people join. But for those of you watching the replay, hi.
Hello. It's
Very
been a
long
while.
time no see. It has been a while. It
Mm-hmm.
has been a summer for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been just super, super busy and with no end in sight. So that's basically why we haven't done live shows in a while. But hey, Alicia, how
Hello,
are you?
Alicia.
So good
All
to
right.
see you in the chat.
Explain to us what has been happening. Catch us up on what has been happening since April, Rachel.
It's been a lot. So for those of you that don't know, I work at a performing arts studio. During the school year, so September through May, we have a schedule of regular classes. We do like tumble classes, dance classes, musical theater, acting. We do a lot through the studio. So that's during the year. And then during the summer, this past summer, we put on 2 full productions. And next summer, I think we're going to cut down to just 1 because it was way too much doing 2. And so this summer, we did a production of Finding Nemo Kids.
Damn.
So there is a Finding Nemo musical.
That's so cute.
And the company that licenses musicals, they created shorter versions for kids to participate in. So there's kids versions of musicals, and then there's junior versions of musicals. Kids versions are about like 30 minutes. Junior versions are about an hour to an hour and a half. So we did the Finding Nemo Kids in June. And then I just finished up doing James and the Giant Peach Jr. So that was a longer show. Nobody knows that was made into a musical, but it was.
Yes. Yeah.
It's definitely, obviously based off the book, based off the 90s film. But it's actually really fun music, and it was really adorable. It was a good time. But this summer, I took on a lot more responsibilities. In the past, I've only just music directed. So that means just teaching the songs to the kids, making sure that they sound good, all of that stuff. This year, I took on a lot more. I assistant directed, so I assisted the director if she needed me to create blocking for certain scenes, meaning like coming up with like telling the kids where to go, where the different characters where to go during scenes. I also choreographed some songs, so coming up with dance moves and things like that for songs. And then I also stage managed. Stage managing is when you are backstage on a headset and you are calling the show, meaning that you are the one giving all of the cues to the people in like the sound and light booth at the back of the theater. So that means I was like on book with my script, and every little cue I was giving to the booth in the back. So I was running the show. So it was a
lot of work. That sounds like it's really intense.
It was a lot.
Yeah. And how many shows were you doing that for? Just like
so Finding Nemo was 2 performances, and then James and the Giant Peach was just the 1.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But yeah, it was a lot. Mm-hmm. And we put on Finding Nemo in about a week and a half, which is crazy to think about putting a whole show on in that much time. And then James and the Giant Peach was 2 weeks.
Damn.
So yeah, it's definitely a really quick process, a really quick turnaround also between the 2 productions. But yeah, I mean, it turned out really great. We got really great feedback from the parents, from people in the audience. And so now all of that is now finished, which is great. But I'm also gearing back up for like our normal season to be starting. So, I mean, long story, very, very short, is just a lot is happening. But yeah, but I mean, it was a good summer, just very busy.
And then are you still like auditioning for like any shows right now, or are you just taking a break because there's so many things going on?
I am still auditioning for shows. I recently got a call back for
Ooh.
a lead role in
Ooh.
a show, but I don't know. I feel like it's been a little while since
Okay.
I last heard from them, so I'm like maybe they casted it and they didn't cast me. I don't
Yeah.
know. Um, but they could also be taking their time with casting, so I just don't know. I have no idea.
Would the show be like from where you're living right now, or would it be in like a different city, different town?
It'll be local to me.
Oh, but local to you.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so that would be really, really great. That would work out amazingly
Yeah.
if it did work out. But other than that, no, not much going on. I mean, I had a gig last night where
Ooh.
it was just a singing gig, like just singing a couple songs and
Don't downplay it. That's cool.
thanks at
It's
a local
cool.
bar. It was just a fun time, But I definitely would prefer to be in an actual show. It just hasn't worked out for me in
Mhm.
about a year at this point. So,
Yeah. It's tough. It's competition, and then also, like, you just have to keep plugging away at it.
yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. What about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I mean, like, the fun things, like, it's just work, like, work is work, but I
Yeah,
guess, like, the
work is
fun
work,
things
man.
your
Right.
work is work, but I think, like, the fun things include me going to New York City at the end of June, and it was really cool because I went to my first Broadway show, like, I did it, Rachel, I did it, and so my friend who's, like, a really, like, big theater geek, and she is just, like, she's as passionate as, like, about Broadway shows and musicals just like you. And so it was really cool because she basically guided me through New York City. She lived there for 6 months and then she moved to North Carolina.
Mm.
Um, and then she told me, like, enter all these lottery systems to see if you can win these Broadway tickets. And I was like, bet, let me try it. And then we won really cheap tickets for Aladdin, the musical.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
it was, like, very well done, very well produced. It was so interesting, it was so fun. I fell asleep for, like, maybe, like, 3 minutes because I had bottomless mimosas, like, right before Aladdin.
Mhm.
So but it was, like, really fun, it was really interesting, and then it, like, opened the doors for me, like, to, like, look for more shows in Toronto.
Yeah.
So while like Tim Hortons, like I don't know if you know Tim Hortons, which is like our coffee brand, they put on like a theater show for 5 days. It was just like 5 days of running the show, and it was like about Tim Hortons. And then just thought it was fucking hilarious. So when I came back from New York City and I was like depressed that I was leaving New York City, I just bought tickets to the Tim Hortons musical and I loved it so much. And I'm like, okay, now I'm on the hunt for like good shows. We have
Yeah.
Wicked playing, and I want to watch Wicked.
Oh, yes. Go see it. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
but like the tickets are like $200, and I was like, come on, guys.
Oh, huge. Yeah.
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 So there's the and they're like all sold out. Like it's sold out so fast, so quick. So I'm gonna keep an eye out on it. I know Mamma Mia is gonna play soon too as well. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's fun. That's a fun
Mamma
show.
Mia. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then just went to New York, explored a little bit, and then right now I'm like in the middle of like preparing for a bunch of weddings that I'm attending in August. I'm only attending two, but it's within the same week, so it's like a lot of work.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a bridesmaid for one of them, so, like, I have
That's
to
a
do,
lot.
like yeah, like, I have to do the bridesmaid duties, and then, I have like, the bride asked me to do a speech, so I'm, like, in the middle of writing a speech too as well for the wedding, and then, literally Monday, I will be flying back to New York, but this time for work purposes. And then on the Wednesday, I'm doing like summer concerts. Like, I don't know. I just feel like summer is the time to do like a bunch of concerts. So I just like bought tickets to a bunch of concerts for each month. So I'll be watching a concert on Wednesday. So I'm like pretty busy with like random things to keep me entertained.
Mhm.
But like, yeah. And then work is just work.
Yep. Work is work, man. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, but
that's
that
like
is the spiel
the
of what's
go-to
happening.
answer. I know, like people have been asking, "Oh, like what have you been up to?" It's just like work and sleep and like reading when I can fit it in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like that's a great segue. Like, what have you been reading recently? That's like, not the group pick yet,
I have been back in my alien romance
but
era.
ooh,
So yes, Alicia, work is work indeed. Like, there's never anything like, yes, my work is interesting. Like, everyone's work is somewhat interesting, right?
yeah,
Right? But like, I don't feel like talking about it like all the time, you know? Like,
yeah.
yeah, because then I feel like it just like gets too complicated, and I'm like, like,
Yeah,
let's move
because you have to
on.
like dive deeper into it. But like honestly, like if they're like real friends, they want to learn more about it.
Right.
And I love listening to you and hearing about what your job is like because it's like interesting. It's so
It's
fun.
also a very unique job too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
definitely very
It's
unique.
so different from what I hear from like my people near me. So yeah.
Right.
Anyways,
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah. So
alien romances.
I've been back, specifically Ruby Dixon. I've been
Yeah.
back in because like if y'all don't know, like Ruby Dixon is like the most prolific, I mean, my God, author probably that I know of. I mean, I mean, when Jessica Kane was writing, she was too, but like, man, Ruby Dixon has like so many, first of all, so many different series that are all alien romance series for the most part. And then like there kind of is ish a particular reading order, basically publication order.
Yeah.
And so Ava from Ava's Romance Books,
Yes.
he has made two different videos about Ruby Dixon. One of them specifically about the Ice Planet Barbarian series and like a spin-off series, which is the Ice Home series. And then she's also just made like a Ruby Dixon video, and like, my God, has that been so helpful because she gives like a very clear order of how to read like the Ice Planet Barbarians, the
Yeah.
Ice Home series, all of those books. So that's what I've been like diving back into. I just read like the last couple Ice Planet Barbarians books that you should read before diving into the Ice Home series.
Okay.
And I just read book one of the Ice Home series, and I really have been enjoying that, kind of romance series again. So,
What
um,
has drawn you in? Like, what keeps you intrigued? Like, what do you like about it?
I feel like her books specifically are like candy. Like,
Mm,
they are pretty much the same kind of experience. You know what you're getting yourself into.
yeah,
But I feel like Ruby Dixon, her writing is very enjoyable. There's humorous moments. And of course, there's this, the crazy escapism of
yeah,
being on this planet and the blue alien dudes and like, all of that. But I think it's just like a combination of it being like a fun time. Her books are also relatively short. They're
mm.
not super long. Like, most of her audiobooks are maybe 6 hours.
Ooh,
No, not too long. Um,
that is key
yeah,
for
that
people
is,
like us. Well, for people in general, it's key
yes,
for all of us.
you need to read more Ruby Dixon. It has been so much fun. But yeah, I think it's just I do really enjoy sci-fi romance. I definitely need to read more of it.
Yeah.
Um, I've read a lot more like fantasy romance earlier in the year. So now I feel like maybe I'm gonna be more in like my sci-fi romance era. So I've been really enjoying that. And then I also just read recently Choosing Theo by
Oh, I love
Victoria
that series.
Adeline.
I love that series. That was my alien series that got me into alien romances.
Yeah.
It's
It
so
was
fun, but I
so
dropped
good.
off.
So good.
It's so
Um,
good. It's so
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just
I'm
so
excited to
candy.
continue on with it because I mean, I've only read book one.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to continue on with it, though I've heard from a lot of people that like book one is still their favorite. Um, but I find the world so interesting. That's what I really like about alien romance series is ones that are like not all the same. Um, this series has a unique feel to it. The planet that it takes place on, the type of society, like I found it all very interesting. So I'll definitely continue on with that series at some point. But yeah, I really, really like that one.
I was just checking it out on my library and I see what you see, which is like all the audiobooks are only 6 hours long. And
Right?
Am I about to do a marathon of Ruby Dixon in about 3
Wait,
seconds?
wait, you haven't read any of her books?
I've read Ice Planet Barbarians, but then, like, I think at that time it was, like, so hyped that I felt like I was being extra critical of the series for whatever reason, because I wanted
Oh,
to be, like, the hipster, and I wanted to be like, no, I don't like it." So I wanna give it a, like, another go because obviously it's, like, huge.
I do think that. So I started the series definitely before it got hyped.
Okay.
I want to say either 2019 or 2020 was when I read the first couple books. And
Yeah.
it was because, oh, I remember. It was because this was back when Smuttathon was a thing.
Yeah.
Riley Marie ran that.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
So like I remember her, I feel like it was her that like I watched a video of hers and she had read the first book and she was
Mhm.
like, "Hey, this is kind of ridiculous alien romance with like surprisingly good world building." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
Mhm.
So I just tried out the first book. The first book is not my favorite. I really, really
Oh,
like the
right.
first two
Okay,
books.
okay, good. Because I
Book-
thought, like, I was
Yeah.
missing something.
Book one is fine, but I really love book two in particular is one of my personal favorites of the series.
Okay.
And then there are a lot of books in the series. So I will say that for me personally, it's a series that I would read a couple of books and then have to take a break because it does
Mm,
start to feel like the same thing over and
mm,
over again. I mean, yeah, she uses different character types and like
yeah,
things like that, but those especially like yeah, I feel like by the time I got to book like 7,
yeah.
books like 7 through 12, I was like, this is feeling like the same thing over and over again. But like I said, it's like candy, so I was giving them all 4 stars. Like I was having
Mm.
a good enough
How did
time.
the people land on the planet? Or, like, how did the aliens kind of, you know, exist with the humans? Like, how did it start?
Oh,
Like, how was the world? Because I forgot.
because in the first book we see that basically bad aliens abducted all of these human women
Um,
and they crash land on this ice planet. So
gotcha.
they didn't mean to land on that planet.
Um,
Um, and so then the hero of book one is the one who discovers the ship full of
mm.
human women. Um, and
Oh,
so
wait, now I start to remember, but it's, like, very similar to the like, Choosing Theo. It's, like, kinda similar to
it
that?
is
Yeah, right? Okay,
part,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It
that
blends
part
in.
definitely is like bad
Yeah.
aliens abducting the heroine, and then she
Yeah.
and
Yep.
she ends up with good aliens, and like,
They're all abducted. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yep. But yeah, and what I will say about like it is a long running series, both getting into Ice Planet and then Ice Home. But what's also cool about that is that you do get to see this like creation of a community.
Mhm.
Um, now that we have these human women in the mix, because like we see that at the beginning, I'm sure we learned this in books 1 and 2 that like the tribe of the aliens, like they're kind of dying out
Mm.
because there was like I think a cave in some years before a lot of like their family had passed away
Oh,
and
shit.
like there's not many women in the tribe anymore, so like they're just dying out. um and so it is kind of cool to see like the way that they all these characters like build this new village, this new community. It's very wholesome in a way, but it's also yeah, it's blue alien dudes like you know
Yeah.
yeah, but it's fun. It's definitely just like a fun
It's
time.
escapism.
Hmm.
So that's, like, really nice. Okay. I'm gonna keep it on my radar because, like, I'm a fan of, like, short audiobooks, especially, like, on the weekend when I finally have time to kind of, like, decompress and, like, sit down and listen to an audiobook, and then I just feel so accomplished after I finish these, like, short audiobooks and I finish
Oh yeah,
reading.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, to your point of, when you read it, it was when the series had become hyped.
Mhm.
I I think unfortunately that's to Ruby Dixon's detriment. I think
Mm.
all of this hype, I personally feel that this series should have stayed indie. I don't think that it
Mm.
is a series that should be traditionally published and advertised to a mass audience.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've seen a lot of like YouTubers start to read the series because it was traditionally published, and then
Yeah.
they're making fun of it. And I'm like, but
Oh,
it's like you're
that
taking it
sucks.
too seriously too. Like, like
Mhm.
this series was
Because it's
never
traditionally published, they take it too seriously.
they're taking it because it was traditionally published, I feel like people feel like it should be a certain caliber. Not that her writing is bad,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything, it's just that like these books are ridiculous. Absolutely they are. But like kind of a similar way how I feel about Jessica Kane, like
yeah.
it's escapism, it's just entertainment, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like because they were published by Berkeley, which I feel like that was an odd choice of publisher. Um,
Berkeley was just snapping all these up.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I just feel
I
like that was weird. It was just like a
yeah,
weird
no.
choice.
I agree with you in the sense that like people review traditionally published books like literary fiction that you would
Yes,
read in English class, and they do like these deep like character dives and plot dives, and that's not like the whole point of these books. Like these books are just meant for pure entertainment purposes and storytelling. That's literally it. And yeah, so it's tough.
yeah. So like that's why I feel like it makes me kind of sad because like it looks like Berkeley is just going to publish the whole series, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, these books are not. These are not the like they don't work for traditionally published, a traditionally published audience. They just don't.
That's a
And
lot of books that they're publishing because I'm looking at the series now and there's like 19 books so far. That's huge.
yeah,
That's
I
insane.
feel like I also feel like it was an odd choice to traditionally publish this series
Yeah.
because it really does feed into Ice Home. Like Ice Planet Barbarians is over now. Like she's not writing any more books in that
Mm,
series because the story continued in Ice Home. So like
um,
again, it's like, are y'all gonna also publish Ice Home? Like that's a lot of books. Like,
yeah.
geez, like that is a crazy amount of books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like at this point they've published like I don't know up to book 10,
Damn.
something like that. Like
The covers are really pretty though. I'll give them
they
that.
are pretty. They're
And
not
it
my
makes me
absolute favorite. Some of them are prettier than others.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like some of them I'm not crazy about. I did buy book 1 just because I was like, I really enjoy this series. I want to support Ruby Dixon. There it is. But I don't see myself collecting all of those covers. Like they're fine.
It's expensive to collect all of them. They're like
Yeah.
$25 a pop for me in Canada.
And again, I just feel like it was just a very odd decision for like, first of all, for Berkeley of all publishers to pick it up. Like I feel like maybe Bloom should have, but I feel like Berkeley just beat them to the punch.
Yeah.
Um, but so that's just like weird because yeah, like now, like when we talk about this series, like so many more people have like read at least the first book and they're just like dunking on it
Mhm.
because it was traditionally published. And I'm like, that just makes me sad for Ruby Dixon.
Yeah.
But yeah. Now we're talking about alien romances on
Okay.
a
That
historical romance book club.
that is what we normally do. We just switch to a different genre.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. I mean, we might as well talk about our group pick
Yes.
now that
Do
it's
it.
about 20 minutes. So this month we read A Little Light Mischief by Cat Sebastian, a very short novella, as you can see. The audiobook was like 2-ish hours. It was very, very short.
Yeah, I
Um,
finished it in 40 minutes.
yeah.
It
Have
was
you
great.
read the rest of this series? Because I
I
haven't.
have not.
Okay. I really want to because I've heard really good things about it. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say about this book. What I will say is I feel like we hardly ever see this in historical romance. I liked that they were both of the working class,
Mm,
with Alice being a lady's companion and then Molly being a lady's maid.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And this was just like a fun, cute little lighthearted, very typical Cat Sebastian uh, queer historical romance for sure. I liked it, but it was just very short, you know? Not much to say about it.
It was just a story, really.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
there's not much of a story.
I know. I think they were just always attracted to each other, and then, like, they bit the bullet, and they're like, "Yeah, let's just do it." But there was, like, a part of it where, like, somebody was being harassed by a man, right? If I
Yes.
remember correctly?
So,
Yeah.
mhm. So we have so Alice is the daughter of a vicar, and she got kicked out of the
Mhm.
house because this dude, I guess this was a guy who was like courting her or wanted to court her or something. Anyway, he sexually harassed her, but he spun it around as if like she was at fault.
Yeah.
So her dad kicked her out of the house. And so now I guess it's years later at this point. They are both at a house party for their employer, for the lady that they work for. And this dude is there at the house party. So they decide to get some revenge on him, which I am always here for a revenge plot line. I'm always going to be here for that. And so like they steal something from him, and like I did really like that scene where she confronted him for real, because I feel
Yeah.
like that took a lot of courage to do to someone who harassed you in the past. Like that's really brave of her.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, pretty much from there is they're happily ever after. Like I said, it's like super super short, so there's really not much going on plot wise. They've, I guess, kind of always felt something for each other since they've been in each other's lives, but it wasn't until like this house party that they like confessed those feelings to each other. And then I did think it was really sweet. Molly has a daughter named Katie, and I thought it was really sweet how like Alice was writing stories for Molly to read to her at bedtime.
Very
Um,
nice.
but yeah, so
I
it's just
liked how, like, after that incident where, she was, like, upset over being harassed and things like that, and then the other female character was just, like, consoling her. Like, I thought that that was such a nice, sweet touch and gesture and kind of, like, pointing towards, like, kind of, like, the injustice of blaming the victim
yeah.
and, like, bringing that to, like, the reader's attention of, like, sexual harassment and how unfair it was and how it's still very unfair in society today. So I thought that that was, like, kind of, like, something that stuck out with me a lot.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, other than that, I mean, like, I think, like, it's just nice to see these 2 really just, like, friends kind of fall in
Yeah,
love.
yeah, it is a friends to
It's like a
lovers,
tender kind of, like, romance, but it
and
was just, like, nothing was really happening, in
yeah,
my opinion.
it was just so way too short for any real plot
Yeah.
to happen. Um, so in a way, I kind of wish that this would have been longer, so that like we could have gotten just more, like
Mhm.
more from these characters, like their personalities, more of a plot. Um, yeah, more fun, more revenge. I would be here for that. Yeah, because usually like Cat Sebastian, I've read a lot of her earlier works, and I love her like friends to lovers queer romances. Um, but all of them are a lot longer than this one, so like there's a lot more time to develop the characters, their relationship, all of that stuff. Um, so yeah, like this felt a little bit like an afterthought. Just like I don't know, like I it's just an odd book because it's so short,
Yeah.
you know.
So what's your rating, Rachel?
I gave this one like 4 stars, but like now that we're talking about it, it's probably more like a three-ish, 3.5, you know.
Yeah.
I do love Cat Sebastian though. I do really enjoy her works.
I gave it like a 2.5 to 3
That's fair. Yeah.
because it's like nothing was really happening and I was just listening to the story and then I was waiting for like, for me to feel something. I felt something, from the incident I just like mentioned about, but like I wanted to feel more of something and I don't know, I just don't feel like there was like enough tension between the two characters to invoke an emotion to
I
me.
agree for sure. Yeah, I feel like we could have gotten that had it been a longer book.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I definitely want. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we love queer historical romances because there should be a lot of tension. There should be a lot of like, we can't do this,
Yeah.
and like there really wasn't at all. Although on the other hand, I liked that like their employer was like supportive of both of them and like there wasn't anything in their lives that like led to a lot of angst, but I could have used some.
Not even just like angst of like, oh, like we can't be like this because,
Right.
we're I like females or whatever. It's
Right.
more of just like the tension between like should we, could we, like, like do you like me or am I just like overthinking things and think that you care about me
Yeah,
more
like
than you care about like, like I want
yeah,
some of that action because that's what makes romances like
makes
this.
romance romance.
It
Like
makes romance romance. I
yeah,
think
I agree. I
yeah.
feel like we got like the teensiest little inkling
Yeah.
of it, but then like it was very quickly like swept under the rug
Yeah.
basically, and then like they just like got together. Like it was
Yeah.
right. Right. I agree with
There
that.
should be some uncertainty, I would imagine, from like, like same-sex relationships where like queer relationships where you just have some uncertainty where you're not really too sure how the other person kind of feels about you in general, even in just like heterosexual relationships too as well. But like it's just like there should be that kind of like, do you like me or am I overthinking
Right.
things?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like that's what I really like about queer romances when I do read them or like when I watch them on TV. That's what makes me like squeal and scream because like we have our
Yeah.
characters kind of just go like, I think he likes me, but does he like men or am I just overthinking things? And
Right.
like, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I feel like with this one specifically, it was like they were looking at each other, like in their inner
Mhm.
monologue, they were like looking at each other. And then I
Yeah.
feel like Molly was just like, I see you looking at me, and I look at you too. So
Yeah.
let's do this basically. Like
Yeah.
that was like it. Like
Yeah, like where's the yearning, Like I
right.
want yearning. I
It
want
was
you.
just so short. There was just no room for it. There was just,
But we've seen some really good ones done really well.
true.
Remember, like, what was our last pick in April? Like, it was Kate
Uh
Bateman's
Matilda
Desert
Halifax,
Instant
huh?
Duke.
Oh yeah, that one was good too.
Yeah, like we've read novellas that were just like really good. Didn't we also read or like or maybe you recommended it to me. Actually, no, I think it might be on your channel. Alexandra Vasti, I think.
We read that one. We both really liked it. I need to
Yeah.
continue on with that series. I keep
Oh,
forgetting to.
I read that, crushed it. And then now I have her new book, Near Duke Well.
There, Duke. Well, yeah,
Yeah, I just got it in the mail. I'm excited. I'm
I
excited.
love
It's
the cover.
Friends to Lovers, and she runs an erotic library that she keeps it a secret, obviously. And she is helping her friend matchmake. Like she's matchmaking her friend because her friend needs to get married to someone. And she's just like fighting her feelings for him, I think,
I
towards
need
the
to
end.
see when that one's coming out. Let's see.
I have it in my bookshelf now, so I'm not sure if it's out already.
It might be, and I just missed out.
It's yeah, I'm excited. And then she's already like her new book comes out early next year, I think.
Oh, okay. I did see an announcement from her. I feel like it's out. Yeah. Oh wow. I could borrow the audiobook right now.
Damn it, Rachel, I'm so jealous. Let me check
Okay,
my
well, that's so crazy. Okay, because usually, like with new
yeah.
releases, like libraries will only get like a couple copies. Like I'm on my Libby app right now, and usually like, cause like I have a few different library cards. One of my libraries has one.
Oh, I could borrow right now too.
One of my libraries has one copy, and tell me why one of my other libraries has 93 copies.
Holy shit!
I know.
I have 24 copies. Damn.
So many copies.
Hey. I'm not complaining. I get to read this book right away after this show. It's gonna be a
Wait, do we
fantastic
want this to
time.
be next month's pick?
Do you want to do it? We can fucking do it.
We could do it.
Let's fucking do it. Let's do it.
Might as
I'm
well. I
excited.
didn't realize this came out already.
Yeah, we're behind. I'm behind with the time, so like I'm not even gonna
This came out.
speak.
Oh, this came out like this week. It came out.
Girl, we're ahead of the game.
Okay. It's got good ratings so far.
Oh, I wouldn't even doubt it. I'm excited.
I mean, some of our friends gave it like 3 stars, but
who are our friends?
So like
Risky?
B gave it 3 stars. Let's see who else. But I see some 5 stars too.
Nice.
But I'm gonna show you guys the cover so that y'all can add it to your
So
TBRs.
cute. So whimsical.
I love it. I love it. You know who else's covers I really like? Let's see. This is she is a pretty new historical romance author. Okay. She writes queer romances. Okay. I did read her debut and I didn't absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. However, I mean, this cover is really
good. Yes, gorgeous.
And the cover for book 2 is adorable too.
Where's book 2? Oh, I love it. This one's cuter. Because it has more stuff in the background.
I know. There's more to it. I like it. That one's coming out in August. But yeah. All right. I'm excited about Ne'er Duke Well.
Nice.
And here's the cover again for those of you that are watching. We just have to decide on a date. I don't know what's going on for me in August. I don't know what's happening.
I was just about to say August is my busiest month right now. So
for work or just like random shit.
It's just deadlines. So yeah, like August, mid-August, like I'm gonna be a shell of myself. So if we were to do an August meeting, it'll probably have to be like the 31st in order for me to feel like a human being again.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because like I'm looking at, so that weekend is the 31st is a Saturday and the 1st is a Sunday.
Yeah.
So we
if you want to push it to September, I'm okay with that too as well.
Yeah, I mean, we could either do that weekend. That's going to be right before Labor Day, so that I don't know, that might work. What are your Sundays looking like in general?
Sundays I'm good. I just want to like not do it too late because it's like, Sunday prep day where you just have to kind of get ready for the week.
Yeah, that's fine. So we could do either the 31st or the 1st.
When is Labor Day?
The 2nd.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it Sunday. Want to do Sunday? Sunday. Sure. Do you have time earlier on Sunday?
Yeah, my Sundays. It's very unusual that I'm not available the whole day on Sundays. We can also nail down a time later. But yeah. I think, I think a Sunday afternoon, the 1st, should work for me. I feel like I'll know more about my schedule in like the next week or so.
Cool.
Hey, Albie, how are you? But yeah.
Love it. Oh my god, I'm excited. I think I'm gonna just read the Alexander Vasti novel. Like,
I do want to read it
for our live show.
Yeah, I do want to read it soon.
And then I'll just forget everything about it.
Right.
And then I'll just be like, nice on like September 1st.
Yes. So we're gonna do. I'm gonna pull it up again. This is Ne'er Duke Well by Alexandra Vasti. This is Alexandra Vasti's traditionally published debut in a sense, because like yes, her novellas got picked up by a publisher, but like this is her first like real like traditional release. So yeah.
I love her writing. I read.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I need to read the other novellas. I need to get on it.
I'm worried though because this is like a full-length novel, so I'm scared that it's going to be like, drawn out. And then like it's traditionally published, so I'm scared that the publisher has like input on like what's to be expected in a full-length novel, and then I'm scared that
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
it
be
has
surprised.
very decent ratings though.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
Because
that
I trust our
can be.
girl. I trust
What have you been reading? Because I was just talking about all of like the alien romances. What have you been reading?
What have I been reading? That is such a great question. Okay, so I've been actually reading. Okay, so I guess like historical romance wise, I've never made a video about this, but it's been a long time since I've made a video. I just filmed a video today, but Anna Bradley, amazing author. She
Ooh,
wrote this like she is a indie published author, but she recently got picked up by like Zebra. And
okay.
her Zebra series, like I've read the first book, it was kind of like a major letdown. I was like, this is like boring. But her indie published stories are Chef's Kiss. She has this series called Games Earls Play series. And like the first book is called Not Just Any Earl. And then the second one's Odd Earl Out. And then the third one, I don't know.
Here's the first book.
But it's just like they're short, first of all. So like the audiobooks are 6 hours long. So if you
Love
listen,
that. Love
yeah, love
that.
that. Short, but angsty. What? And then it's angsty. There's some adventure in some of the novels. Like I forget which ones, but there's adventure because there's like villains and there's like, our heroine's in danger. Heroes like trying to save her. There's just like damaged heroes. There's like
Ooh.
these like really interesting tropes happening. It's complex, but it's short and it's just so romantic. Like I think like one of the last books that I finished the series so far. And I finished I think this is the third book in the series called Fell in Love with an Earl.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking cute. Okay, so she is the Duchess. No, she's not the Duchess. My bad. She is the governess to two young boys. And then our hero is obviously like the Earl. And then our hero suffers from like the fact that like his wife died and he's dealing with the grief, and then he thinks that like okay, like my children's lives would be better if I'm just not part of it for some reason. Like he's just thinking like he's just so sad that like he doesn't like the kids don't need to see him that he's sad, so he like leaves them alone for like 2 years and kind of like comes back here and there. He's a kind of like a bad father. He's distant and he's purposely doing it, and then he comes back home to see like this new governess, and they go like they're different, and he is this cold character and he just doesn't care, and he's just like doesn't care about the children. But then you just see him like he actually cares. Like you just see him do things, and like that he cares so much about the children. Like so for example, like she takes care of barn kittens because she doesn't want these like little creatures to freeze in the snow, and she's taking care of them. And then he hates cats, so he's like, no, like I don't care about these cats at all, and he wants to like fire her and he wants to get rid of all these cats. But
Mm-hmm.
then like later on he's like taking care of all these cats because his sons have grown attached to these cats, and then now he himself has grown attached. But he's like like that trend where it's like like the guys are always like, I don't want any of these cats, but then like they're the biggest fan of the cats in the end. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
anyways,
Oh yeah.
I just explained this book so bad, but it's just so fucking good.
Which book is that?
It's number 3. It's called Fell in Love with an Earl. But like honestly, books 1 of 3 are
Ooh.
so fucking good. Like I just remember finishing the first audiobook of the first book and being like so surprised that it was that good that I had to immediately start book number 2. And then book number 2 was so fucking good. And then book number 3, like, I had to take some time to get it published. And then, obviously the audiobook to be available. And then so I finally picked it up back again. But book number 4 was good too as well, but it's just not as good as book numbers 1, 2, 3.
And those of you that have Hoopla, by the way, like all of her audiobooks are on Hoopla.
So good.
So
I'm a fan of her writing. Yeah. I want to read her other popular series.
That like specific book that
Yeah, that's the one where this guy
Governess,
and like he doesn't give a shit, but he gives so much shits, and I love that. I love a guy.
and like I'm like you, Albie. I love Governess heroines. I love that trope. Governess nanny romances. Like give it to me.
Yeah. He tries to fire her in like the first page, and she's just like, "What the heck?" Like, I love these boys so much, and the boys respect her so much, and the boys love her so much. It's just so nice. Love it. So yeah, so I've read those, and then like other than that, I've been catching up on my contemporary romance because there was like a lot of books that I was just kind of like putting off to the side, and then I finally picked them up. So I read Elsie Silver, Anna Hong, Lauren Asher, like their latest releases from this year. And then I also read some like more traditionally published like romances from like Berkeley.
Any standouts?
Any standouts? I mean, I'm looking at my list right now. It's like nothing crazy, but like I read this one called One Last Summer by Kate Spencer. It's from Forever Romance. And I've read Kate Spencer's debut novel, which is called In a New York Minute, like when it came out. And I really liked In a New York Minute because it was like fun, it was lighthearted, it was a feel-good novel. And then so I was always interested in Kate Spencer. So One Last Summer is her newest release, and that is for fans of Emily Henry's like Summer Vacation. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Emily Henry's novel is called Summer Vacation or something like that.
People will meet on vacation.
People will meet on vacation. Sorry. I was like, yeah. No, Happy Place. Sorry.
Happy Place. That's one that I've been meaning to read.
Okay, sorry. So Kate Spencer's One Last Summer is for fans of Happy Place by Emily Henry, because it's like the same story of like a group of friends who go back to a certain area that they've spent their, adult, like their teenage years in, and then they go back and like they kind of think back of all the memories. And Kate Spencer's novel is similar to that, but I didn't really like Happy Place, but I really liked Kate Spencer's novel because it was like kind of like a second chance romance. And then it was just fun kind of going back to like this chaotic summer that they've always had, and just kind of like looking at their friendships and like how they've changed as adults. Yeah, so it's just really nice. And I really like that book. I mean, I like that book.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's not really that pushed that well, but it has 1,700 ratings right now. The first book in a New York Minute has 34,000-ish. And I think that's because it was her debut novel and it got more marketing spend.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, those were, I'm just taking it slow. I'm like catching up on Tessa Bailey because I haven't been reading her as much recently. So I just finished Secretly Yours, which came out last year, I think.
Oh, that one was cute. I liked that one.
I didn't really like it. I didn't like it because
it's not my favorite of hers, but
yeah, it's just like, I didn't like it because I felt like he just, if you remember, he like literally had a anxiety attack, and then he went home, locked himself away in his house for 2.5 weeks and finished his book and forgot about her and forgot about her relationship, his relationship with her, and then left her to think that, she was being dumped because she was psycho, like basically for writing these like love letters to him. And then he's like, no, I love it. Like, I love your letters. Okay. So I do want to read the sequel because
I liked the sequel a lot. I really liked the sequel a lot because I really, really enjoy romances with like a grumpy heroine. He's a bit of like a himbo hero.
What's a himbo?
Like the male version of a bimbo, a himbo.
That's so funny.
So like that they're like perceived not to have much going on up here.
Yeah, I
But
love that.
and it's kind of a little bit like hate to love, like a little bit like she definitely like hates him at
Yeah,
like the beginning, and he's just kind of like entertained by that.
I
But
think I
it's
saw
also a
some of
marriage of
that in the
convenience.
first book where it was like enemies to lovers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hmm.
okay.
And then it's a marriage of convenience, which is fun. So
Oh, that is fun. The thing
mhm.
about Tessa Bailey is that in her recent novels, it's always like kind of like the same trope, like where our hero is like this, I don't know, like this like cute, nerdy, bookish, kind of like dumb, like doesn't like not dumb, like knowledge wise, like they're very intellectual. They're intellectual, but then feelings wise, they're dumb. Like they're like they just don't understand their own feelings. They don't understand that like people are attracted to them and things like that. So like the reason why I think like this is because the last two novels have like the same male character, and that's why I thought it was like funny because like Secretly Yours has that character, but then Window Shopper has the same character, like the guy.
Window shopping though, like that character, he's like more quirky. Like
Yeah,
he's like I thought he was funny. Like whereas the guy in Secretly Yours, he just has like anxiety and like he's definitely like a
he's
nerdy
very
nerd
rigid.
now.
Yeah.
But I think Tessa Bailey actually writes more of like grumpy heroes. If I were to give her like a type, like she does tend to write more grumpy heroes. Um and I did, you know what, I actually did really enjoy her golf romance.
Oh, I didn't like that one, but continue with your thoughts.
Um I thought it was cute. But I'm excited to read her newest release, the sequel to it. Um I agree. Male Zoe Deschanel. Also, that character was like very clearly inspired by like Ted Lasso. Absolutely.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, she does love a grumpy, broody hero. But it works because like she also loves writing like quirkier, sunshiny heroines. So that dynamic just works for sure. But
I
yeah,
think
I
I'd
thought
be
the
really
golf romance
curious
was
to hear
fun.
about like yeah, sorry.
No, I just said I liked her golf romance for what it was.
I think the golf romance reminded me of that movie called All About Steve. I'm like misquoting everything today, so like let me double check if it's All About Steve. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, or am I crazy?
Mhm.
Yeah, it is. All About Steve where Sandra Bullock is just obsessed with Bradley Cooper for some reason.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So then this golfing thing was like exactly the same where she was just like a huge fan of this golfer and then like he was mean, he was rude, he didn't care about her at all, but like she still kept following him for every game and being like the number one supporter. And then in the end, obviously she's just like you're a jerk and just like tried to stop supporting her
I
and
do
stuck her
like
bed.
that like in the book though, like pretty early on in the book, like she put her foot down to him because like yes, she was obsessed with him, but then he was being an ass, and she was like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing?" Like and
Yeah.
then
Like, why do I have
it,
to
like
do it?
flipped and like he became obsessed with her. So I do like that. Because I feel like that she had stalker vibes. She definitely did have stalker vibes. um,
Yeah.
but it was definitely something different. Definitely something different from the sports romance genre, you know. But
I'm excited to read the second book because I always liked her. I always liked his sister, so I always wanted to hear more about her story about like how she
I
climbed
like
to the
her
top
character
in
a
the
lot.
science world, and then
Hmm.
she made one mistake, and then she lost her whole career, and now she's kind of like licking her wounds in
Yes.
the house. I liked how in the end of that Tessa Bailey novel, Secretly Yours, where, like the mom was always like cold, abrasive, and just kind of like always taking a step
Mhm.
back in the children's lives, where they all came together to kind of work on the vineyard and like where they mended their relationship and kind of were on the right track of, like, being closer to and being more close-knit and being, like, a functional family in the end. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Mhm. She was like, "You need to live up to my fantasies."
Facts. So fair.
That's so funny. And then the mom had Emily Gilmore. She does have Emily Gilmore vibes. The mom in Secretly Yours. She
Yeah.
definitely has Emily Gilmore vibes. That's funny. Um, yeah, Tessa Bailey, like, I just have fun with her books, and like she definitely gives me the same sort of kind of feeling that I have when I read Jessica Kane.
Hmm.
Because in the past I have thought to myself, like, are they the same person? Because sometimes, like, the way that she writes her steamy scenes in particular, I'm like, this is getting kind of unhinged. Like, I don't know, I don't know what's going on.
Tessa Bailey's, like, really good with, like, dirty talk.
Mm-hmm.
She's so good with it.
She is. She is. Yeah. Trying to think if there was anything else we wanted to talk about.
Nothing for me. I think, like, just reading slowly, very slowly, but
Right,
still
slowly,
doing it.
slowly. Like, I'm currently filming a vlog right
Ooh.
now, but like my momentum has kind of slowed down. Like I was reading a lot earlier in the week, and then now like not so much. So I'm like, dang it! I mean, that always makes me sad when I'm filming a vlog.
Yeah.
Um, but hopefully, I can jump back into what I'm reading tonight and like finish something by tomorrow. But
What are
yeah,
you reading right now?
I'm reading Reckless by Lauren Roberts.
Ooh, is it good?
I'm really like, I mean, I personally really enjoyed book one, Powerless. I feel like that book though is very hit or miss for people because
Mm.
it's YA fantasy romance, heavily
Oh, it's
inspired by the Hunger Games.
YA.
Um, but I really enjoyed book one, and so book two, I can definitely see myself liking even more than book one because now it's like become like this game of cat and mouse between the hero and heroine.
Mhm.
Um, and so yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I just haven't had the time to read the last couple of days, so I'm only on page like 80
Mhm.
so far. But yeah, I'm liking it.
Love it. Yeah, because you were telling me about, like, how you're reading sci-fi romances, but then before when we were talking in April, you were reading a lot of fantasy romances, so I didn't know if you were still doing it, but great for you that you're still
Yeah, that
doing
one's
it.
kind of random. Right now, I've definitely been reading more contemporary and then the alien romances, and this one's just kind of a random fantasy romance in there. But it's YA, so like I can get through it quicker, uh,
Ooh.
for sure. But yeah, I'm liking it. What about you? What are you currently working on?
What am I currently reading? Right now I'm reading an old book. It's called Size 12 is Not Fat. I think that's the title of it. It's
I've
from
heard of
Meg
that one.
Abott. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then so I never knew it was a like romantic suspense, romantic mystery novel because she's like a sleuth basically, and she's
Oh
just
right.
like trying to figure out like who's killing girls in the college dorm. I thought it was just gonna be a girl with body image issues and then like falling in love and being like a quirky fun novel.
Well, and the cover looks like that. Like
Exactly.
yeah, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, like this is like amazing. Like this is incredible because like with my weddings, I'm trying to lose weight. So I'm just like, yeah, size 12 is not fat. Like
well, and
this is
also
gonna be
like
great.
the time that that book was written to,
Oh, so
like
long ago.
it was such a revolutionary idea that a size 12 would be
Mhm.
considered normal when
Yeah.
that is absolutely a very normal size. Like,
Yeah.
but in the early 2000s, like that was not the trend. That was not the norm. Everybody was like this in Hollywood. So that was the pressure, that was the norm. But
I would have to say that
oh, I
that book
want
did
to read that.
not feel like it aged well because they do
Yeah,
a lot of body shaming on
a
the
lot.
opposite side, and, like, they make fun of, like, girls who are, like, really skinny, and then I'm just like, maybe not the best."
Definitely a product of its time, for
Yep.
sure.
Oh, I like that, a product of its time.
Absolutely. You Should Be So Lucky. I think that's the one that I've read, because I know that she came out with like a companion novel that has a similar title, and I cannot remember what it is. But this one is an historical romance that takes place in the 50s,
Ooh.
and the heroes both work for a newspaper, and very just like sweet, low-ish angst, especially like towards the end, because it's like once they get together, they're together.
Mhm.
I really liked it. I liked it for sure. Definitely kind of a unique vibe too. Heather Wells mystery. I need to get back into like mystery thrillers.
Ooh.
That's
Uh,
what I need to get back
I
into.
just bought the new Ruth Ware novel that came out in May, and then I'm excited for I don't know what's her name, but
Ooh,
I'm excited.
yeah. This is her newest release, the baseball player and journalist, the cat Sebastian.
Love it. That's
So I
so
do
cute.
I do want to read that one for sure. Um, Ruth Ware, what is that book called? Her
You know what
newest.
I'm talking about, right? The Perfect Couple or something?
You said you just got it.
I bought it on Amazon, so it's being delivered tomorrow, but I saw it at the bookstore today, and then that's why I bought it on Amazon because of the bookstore, they didn't have a sale. What's it? Yeah, One Perfect Couple.
I I've only read one Ruth Ware book, but I loved it. It was The Turn of the Key.
Mm,
I really liked that one. That one was really good. So I definitely want to read more from her, but I feel like a lot of her books get really mixed reviews.
yeah. Like me, it's always like a hit or a miss.
Hmm. So I just need to
Uh,
like try her books, try more of her books.
ooh, you know who the author I really like? Sherry Lapina.
I've never read any of her books. Which
She's
book would you recommend?
so good. Okay, so her debut, like her novel that shot her to like fan shot her to celebrity status, basically. I guess The Couple Next Door. That was really good.
Okay.
I also like Everyone Here Is Lying, Someone We Know, and The End of Her. So what she's really good at is really just having a whole cast of characters and a bunch of red herrings, and like she's really good at intertwining everybody's like storylines so that it can all come to a very conclusive end. And you're just kind of like
Gotcha.
always like you're hearing from different perspectives too as well, because I listen through audiobook. I think like that's the best way to read her books. And so you're just kind of like, oh shit, like this is connected to that character from like 5 chapters ago, and then this is connected to this, and then you're just like sitting on the edge of your seat to see how Sherry like kind of like ties it all together. So I'm really excited for her new novel that's coming out like literally I think like on Monday or Tuesday. It's called
Oh,
What Have You Done? So I think that's gonna be very dramatic. So I'm excited for that.
and then Albie recommended for Ruth Ware. I do remember seeing a book about Cabin 10, and
Yeah,
then
I read Cabin 10 the first like that was my first book from her and I really enjoyed it. It was very atmospheric.
ooh, I love atmospheric thrillers, and I also really personally enjoy thrillers that do start slow,
Yeah.
but then by the end it's like, whoa, what did I just read? Like
Yeah.
that's my kind of thriller
Yeah.
for sure. I just wish I had more time to read. I have
Oh,
no
girl.
time.
Girl, me too.
Oh,
I wish I could take like 1 week vacation and all I do is just read, but I know I'll just get so bored. I'm not the same person as I was like a year ago, where
right.
I can sit
Even
and read for a week.
right.
I'm the type of girly now to like read for an hour and then just watch TV for 4 hours.
Hmm.
And then I go like, maybe I should read the book. And then I always go like, is it me or is it the book? Is it me or is it the book? And then
Right. Like this whole past week, I mean, I did have to do some work remotely, so I was working
yeah,
from home. But other than that, like I had like all the time in the world to read, and I did get a decent amount of reading done this week, but for the most part, I was either like sleeping in late or taking naps. So like that obviously took a lot of time out of my day. And then like when I was reading, it was, I just didn't have the attention span that I used to have. Like,
yeah.
man, I used to be able to read a book a day
Hmm.
consistently. Like that was like my speed. And now if I do read a book in a day, it's because it's a novella. Like,
Mm.
otherwise, it's just not going to happen. It is
I
not
used to be
happening.
able to listen to 2 audiobooks a day, and now I can't even get through 1 in 4
Yeah,
days.
I
But
know. It
sometimes
sucks.
the book is so good, and I'm able to, like, finish it really quickly. So I always think, like, "Oh, okay, is it me or is it the book?"
Right. I also like thrillers with an unreliable narrator. I know that that's a trope that's obviously gotten used so much that like some people find it annoying.
Mhm.
Some of my favorite thrillers have unreliable narrators. Like I personally really enjoyed oh gosh, what is that thriller? Is it called The Girl on the Train?
Yes.
Yeah. I liked that. I really liked that
Let me
one.
double check. Yeah,
I
Girl on the Train. That was
I
really good.
really liked I read this way before it got popular, the Woman in the Window.
Oh, yes.
I liked that one too. But yeah, Girl on the Train is really good. Um I'll never get over. I personally love Gone Girl. That one's not necessarily
I've
an
never read that one.
unreliable narrator, but it's just a very good thriller. It's just a really, really good thriller. I think it's a classic at this point. Like if I were to recommend a thriller to anyone, I probably
Mhm.
would go with that one.
Yeah, that's fair. I've only watched the movie, but Gone Girl was so good, the movie.
I liked the movie too. The book is definitely different, but
Oh.
I'm trying to think if
Sharp
I've read
Object.
Sharp. I don't think I've read Sharp Objects. I've read Dark Places by the same author that wrote Gone Girl, but I haven't read Sharp Objects.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah,
Amazing.
I think with that being said, we can go ahead and wrap this up. We've been chatting for about an hour, so
Great show, guys. Thank you for
yeah.
joining. Thank you for
Yeah,
watching.
thank you
That was
guys for joining. Thank you guys so much for joining us in the comments because it really does add a lot to our discussion. Being able to like read your guys' thoughts and respond to them. Yeah, of course. Thank you. Um, and then yeah, like we said, our next pick is going to be Nair Duke. Well, we're going to nail down a date and time for that. That might be pushed back to early September. I don't know. We'll talk about it. But
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed being here with us. And yeah, with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next live show. Bye, everyone.
Bye.